Hi, thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. Today being a Tuesday, this is Health Check. And today on Health Check, we will be talking about artificial limbs. And joining me for that conversation is Dr. O.J. Ondiege. And Dr. Ondiege is a consultant, prosthetist, as well as orthopedist. Yes, and he is here today to just talk to us about artificial limbs, or you can call them prosthetics, right? Prosthetics.
Right.
Yes, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me around. Good morning, Kenya. My name is O.J. Ondiege, as it has been said. I am a consultant prosthetist orthotist, and also I am an employee of Kenyatta National Hospital. I am at the same time the president of ISPO Kenyan chapter. So I've got many titles, but I'll leave it as at that. Yeah, today our main concern is generally about orthopedic technology. Orthopedic technology is the science that deals with prosthetics and orthotics. And our main area of concern today will be talking about prosthetics in particular, even though I will also touch on general areas where we are specialists and people are not aware on where to do some of these things. One of the key areas is about spinal orthotics. Spinal orthotics is the support for the spinal column. And this is not an area where so many people are specialized. And people attempt to do it, but instead, if they do it the wrong way, they end up hurting our patients rather than rehabilitating them. And what we advocate for is proper use of what we now call the prescription criteria for spinal orthotics. It is the same thing that I'm going to talk about, that talks about the prescription criteria for prosthetics. A prosthesis is, in layman's language, an artificial limb fitted to compensate for the missing parts of a human body.
Yeah.
We have, for example, prosthesis for the ear. We have prosthesis for the breasts, especially for those, our colleagues that are not lucky and have gone through operation due to cancer of the breast. We have prosthesis for the hand. We also have prosthesis for the legs. That is the most common one that we use. Now, what compels me to talk about prosthesis today is mostly the practice in Kenya. We have got so many orthopedic technologists trained. A trained orthopedic technologist, even if he's at a level of the diploma, will fit a prosthetic limb very effectively. And one of the reasons why I am talking about this is that we have people coming into our country. Maybe they come through very high power places that we are not able to control. And they pretend to be making prostheses for our patients that ends up not helping these patients at all. Our main work is rehabilitation. And therefore, whatever we are doing should be able to rehabilitate this patient in an effective way and efficient.
Let's talk about the prescription criteria. Like, how do you go about that?
When a patient is amputated, for example, the amputation below the knee, we used to call it BK, below knee prosthesis. And now WHO have changed the terminology. So we go with the main limb that is transected. And therefore we call them transtibial prosthesis. A person going through an amputation below the knee needs time to heal. And the prescription criteria is based on the functional level of this patient before amputation. We refer to that as the K level. And it also depends on the size of the stump. Some can be very short, some are very long, and others are medium. Now, the size of the stump, the functional level of this patient helps you to reach the correct prescription criteria. And that is why I'm saying I don't want people to come and fit prosthesis without knowledge, because at the end of the day, it is our patients suffering. Yeah.
Okay, maybe if we can just go back a bit and talk about some of the causes, of the most common causes of limb loss.
The most common cause right now in the Republic of Kenya on limb loss is road traffic accident. As you are aware, the coming in of motorcycles, the people we call border borders, a good number of them, and even in my hospital, Kenyatta National Hospital, many fractures are through the border recklessness in riding the bikes. And therefore, we get also quite a good number of serious fractures that ends up getting into amputation. And once an amputation has been done, then we need to start managing that amputation right from the beginning. I don't want to say the stump, because sometimes it is an amputation that has involved the ear. It came out in the accident scene, and therefore you want to make artificial ear. And that means you have to start managing this and look at the maturity of the wound that is there. Once the wound is mature, you will go ahead and prescribe the right maybe ear or prosthesis that you want, depending on things that I talked about earlier.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And how do you go about picking the right type of prosthesis for a particular or for a specific condition?
Thank you. That's a very good question, and that is a very pregnant question that brings us to that area where I was saying I just don't want people to be walking into Kenya to give people prosthesis. One, it depends on the availability of the right materials. These materials must be dermatologically tested to show that it is good for the human body.
Yeah.
At times, people come with materials that actually I don't want to mention, but there's an organization that came using pipes that are used for the sewage to make prosthesis for our people in this republic.
Okay.
Yet we have people who have gone to school to do this work.
I mean, okay, I want to get in on that, because it's something you've mentioned, you know, and it's unfortunate if that is happening. And my question with that isn't the profession regulated?
That is where the main problem is. We don't have a proper regulator.
Okay.
And in our country, sorry, it is at the moment that we are working towards getting a stiff regulator that will help us control this. And therefore, these people come and they get into the system without our control. And that is why I was saying some come with a lot of power that even those who are in position might not be able to control them. But at times, even those who are in position don't consult others to help. As I told you, I'm a consultant in this area. We are very few. Unfortunately, I'm the only consultant right now in the whole Republic of Kenya. We are yet to get others, but it is in the system, they are coming. And that makes things become very difficult for us, because the way I see things might not be the same way some of my colleagues will see things. And because we don't have a proper regulator, people come in, and they come in with some with good technology anyway, but they are not professionals. So my input and my word to them and to the rest of the Kenyans, and even in the counties, because the counties is where many things go wrong, is that, first of all the counties should employ orthopedic technologists every county should employ an orthopedic technologist. Once an orthopedic technologist is employed, we have our training system that we can refresh them even with the latest technologies. And the people coming in should employ our people. I don't want them to come here and start working on our patients simply because we don't have a regulator. Instead of rehabilitating these patients, they are deforming them. A group comes, picks measurements, even in the wrong way, the style of taking measurement is not correct, and they go with those measurements back in their country. It will stay maybe a whole month or 2 months. When it is brought, the stamp has changed the shape. The person maybe have grown, maybe was a young person, still growing, and so many things change. And in orthopedic technology, we have two things. Precision, you must be very precise, because the height of your bone, even with somebody else that you are the same height in, the normal height,
No, they differ.
There's difference in the bone height. And therefore, we must get an individual measurement to give a very correct and comprehensive way of rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who should come on board in order to help with all this? Because it seems like it's a problem now.
The first very important thing is that we should have a regulating body. We should have a regulating body. Despite our numbers, we are also not very many. Because training an orthopedic technologist, one, is almost the same like training 10 physiotherapists. The cost is so enormous. Why is it that enormous? Because we are using materials that are actually most of them imported, and we are using machines that are very high powered. So without these correct machines, without the correct materials, you might not have trained an effective orthopedic technologist. Now from orthopedic technology, they grow to become a certified prosthetist orthotist. That's now a degree holder. And then they continue growing to the level where I am, senior certified prosthetist orthotist, and now a consultant. So the people who should come on board is purely the Ministry of Health and the members of parliament to help us have Act of Parliament. When we have an Act of Parliament, we will be able to stop these people from coming to give our people wrong processes. And many Kenyans are going out of the country to look for prosthesis. But I want to tell you, nobody needs to go out. We are on top of things, we are able to do the right things. And if our counties are empowered, and we are having a conversation right now to empower almost all the counties, and we did actually a survey, and I told the concerned officers, we will only support if you have somebody on board. We are going to support in terms of taking their machines, the right machinery, taking their materials. But we can only be able to support, and this is my word to the county presidents, the governors. Kindly, if you are listening to this program, purpose to recruit orthopedic technologists.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's get back to the limbs so that we get to understand, how they work and all. So do the prostheses give full mobility and functionality? It
should, depending on who have helped in fabricating the prosthesis. Like, I will give you an example. In my hospital, we have a lady that is having what we call through hip disarticulation. Through hip disarticulation is where all the lower limb is not there, it's been removed. That is, the bone femur is disarticulated at the hip. And now we make a type of prosthesis we call Canadian hip prosthesis. This Canadian hip prosthesis, if made with the right professionals, this lady actually walks better than those who are amputated above the knee. An artificial limb that is a prosthesis should give this person freedom. It improves the quality of life.
Yeah.
That is our main aim, to improve the quality of life of that amputee. And therefore, the artificial limb is fitted according to the art that people are trained to do. And that is why I'm insisting people must be trained to do the right thing. And we give them mobility, we give them freedom. Like now, this lady I'm talking about in my hospital, she's now doing her PhD in clinical psychology. And she's walking minus anything, not even a crutch, not even a walking stick.
Yeah.
She's able to walk, so she's free. You can imagine that this person, without us being around, what could be the thing? They would be pushing her on a wheelchair. Yes, and even wheelchairs are not just dispensed like that. We are also supposed to be in control of wheelchairs in the Republic as orthopedic technologists, because a wheelchair is a prescribed item. Thank you.
All right. Now, as you've clearly stated, they do give full mobility and they do give full functionality if well, put, if I may use that word. So maybe what kind of maintenance is required?
The maintenance is that the moment we have delivered a prosthesis, say today, when we give out, we use the term delivery. It's not the delivery of the ladies. So we say we are delivering a prosthesis.
Yeah.
Now, when we deliver a prosthesis, our patient goes with an appointment. The first appointment, he or she should come for a checkup after 3 months, and then after 6 months. And then that time now we are comfortable and sure that now everything is okay. In case there's any breakage, we always have a follow-up through phone call. This patient is free to call us and to be able to tell us any problem that they face. As orthopedic technologists, we are seriously trained to the extent that we even discharge the patient, follow the patient in the rural area, and see the area if it is accessible with this person of ours.
Yeah.
Maybe the patient is having transfemoral amputation and you have made a nice prosthesis. Could be this patient is not able to use a pit latrine that the patient was using before. What we prescribe is that we will go agree with the people in the community. It is part of what we do. We call it CBR, community-based rehabilitation. Go with these people and design a VIP toilet for this particular patient so that they are comfortable. We do so many things, including discussing with the people in the community to make the asleys, the walkways, wide enough for wheelchair users also. And even if a wheelchair user have to go and use his toilet, the toilet must be improved to a disability-friendly toilet.
Yeah.
So we make a follow-up for all our patients. And there's even a very critical area that we are the specialists in Kenyatta, management of what we call congenital talipes equinovarus. That is clubfoot in layman's
Those medical
language.
terms. Yeah, It's called, in layman's languages, clubfoot.
Clubfoot.
Okay.
Children born with the feet going like this. Now, in that scenario, we do the conservative management. There's no operation. If we identify, we have even trained the midwives, that once they identify a case like this in Kenyatta National Hospital, it is never discharged without passing through us. So we start the management. And between 3 to 5 plasters, believe me, the foot would have been in plantar grade, pain-free, conservative treatment. So we do quite a lot. We even work on flat feet. We even work on bow legs that we call the varus knees. We even work on knocked knees, we call genu valgum, and all that. So we handle almost every type of congenital deformity that a child would be born with.
And are these cases rampant?
Cases are very rampant.
Yeah.
Cases are very rampant, especially the one of clubfoot. It is the second highest prevalence after what we call cerebral palsy.
Oh.
Yes. So, and we are also the managers of the cerebral palsy cases. So we are actually dealing with almost all areas of rehabilitation, even children born with what we call congenital flexed neck, even what we call abs palsy. Sometimes a child is born, now due to what we call the perinatal problems or the presentation of the child comes with the hand facing the back. So we do the rehabilitation. That is called abs palsy.
Okay.
And we do the rehabilitation and return it back before this child celebrates the first birthday. Everything is in order. That includes also clubfoot, but flat foot, we do it later when the child now is walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On the prosthetics, now, how long does one last, or do the prosthetics last before one needs to get a replacement?
This would have been a question that would have been best asked to the patients that are users, but I will answer on their behalf.
Okay.
A prosthesis can take somebody for as long as 10 years in use of that. If it is already an adult, you fitted the prosthesis well, you used the right parts and components.
So it depends with how well it is maintained by the patient using it.
By the patient, the user.
Okay.
And also it depends on the type of materials that you used to fabricate that prosthesis. But on average, we say after 5 years, they need replacement. Here I am, I also talk for those who get accident, and now they are looking for compensation. Maybe it was a vehicle that rolled and all that, and all the patients that survived are being compensated.
Yeah.
So we do a calculation, and we give it an average of 5 years. So after every 5 years, a new one should be done. Yes.
Okay.
That is what is in literature.
Yeah.
And it is what we use. I also represent them in court at times. If it is a case that maybe where the accident came, like for example, Kenya Power is very notorious. When a person has gotten the ban and the amputation is due to electric problem, they will look for excuses why this happened. But sometimes it is their fault. And therefore, they have to compensate this person for their life. The life expectancy right now in Kenya is approximated at 70 years. So my calculation starts at, if maybe the patient is 30 years, say for example, this patient is still remaining with 40 years to live according to the life expectancy in Kenya. And therefore, after every 5 years, a new prosthesis should be done. And after every 5 years, we add in 10% on inflation rate. So if the cost was, say, for example, 150,000 Kenya shillings, the calculation next time for the replacement will be more by 10%. Yes.
Okay. Now, maybe for an amputee who may be tuned in on the program today, or maybe, sometimes there are people who are born without, the limbs. Maybe for someone like that, and they would love to know where to start, maybe if they want to get some of this prosthesis or prosthesis, what's the process like? Where should one begin?
Yes, that's a nice question. First of all, those born with what we call congenital amputee, I will encourage them to come to Kenyatta National Hospital. Even if I'm not there, my department is always ready for the patients. And for the children, we will negotiate with the parents. We make them mostly free.
Actually, I had a question on just how affordable is it, so you can pick up on that still, as you explain the process.
They are affordable in the sense that we will agree. A child is growing. And with the knowledge we have, we can use the remnants to make something new. Because, say, we are using a technology that we call polypropylene technology. Polypropylene technology is where we are using a certain type of plastic that we put in the oven, and then it can mold to the shape of the stamp. Now, this polypropylene technology, a whole sheet is quite a big thing, but you will have the cut-offs that you will use to make a prosthesis for a child. So for that reason, we just register the child. The child is now ours. We will be changing this very frequently.
Yeah.
And because if you have to look for the right parts for this child, first of all, they are expensive, and maybe research has shown that sometimes when people get into these congenital problems, the parents have moved in so many hospitals, and therefore they have depleted their finances. And therefore we come in, we try to help, but for adults, our prostheses range from in Kenyatta National Hospital. This is the price for Kenyatta. Though right now, I am trying to standardize the prices in the country, especially if we will get that supply of the right materials and the machines. Then we have reasons to standardize it. But as at now, it is difficult to standardize it because every hospital has got their way of raising finances. And therefore, they might decide on their own prices.
Right.
But the good thing is that orthopedic technologies are trained on cost calculation. And for that reason, they will do their calculation to know what price they have. In Kenyatta, we have different technologies. You know, we are I would say, the headquarters of technology, for lack of proper words. Because we are using ICRC technology, we are using lamination technology. Right now, we have a new technology that is coming in. We call it a Livio technology, where you can be able to do that prosthesis within few hours and it is fitted.
Yeah.
So for right now, I can announce that yes, I still have a chance for 2 more for free.
Okay.
But it must be a below the knee amputation.
Okay.
And then we are also having what we call the monolimb technology. So we have got assorted type of technologies. Every technology has got its own cost.
Okay. Fairly ranging around
30,000 to 250,000.
Does insurance cover some of this?
The insurance is when we are in the process of looking for the coverage with the insurance. But up to now, it is not covered, though we have special cases of teachers, police officers, and senior civil servants. We can give them this insurance. They have to come in and they are written for a letter by the insurance. Once that letter is written, we take it to our finance department. If it is accepted, we'll do the processes because we have the materials in Kenyatta.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just to get it out there, you said for the young ones, for the children, you're doing it for free.
Yeah.
You're doing the fittings for free.
Yes.
By children, until what age?
We move with them up to around 12 years of age.
So for 12 years and below, they can get that for free?
We can get it for free, but it is not totally free. We will charge something depending on who can support what. Sometimes we also look for them, people to support them. Like Safaricom have supported. Our affiliation department goes out to look for those who can support them. Because we have to replenish the materials that we are using.
All right.
Yeah.
I believe that is information that would help someone who may be watching us from wherever it is that they're watching and they have a child who may need the prosthetics.
Yeah.
Now, maybe just to get to understand how to care for the skin. Now, for the skin that is around that the prosthesis, oh, that word is really a mouthful for me, that the prosthetic is around. Is there a way to care for the skin around that area?
Yes. We train them. One, if it's a normal stamp that does not have so much rashes on the skin or things like that, which means the patient is okay, have adopted this type of material that is used.
Yeah.
We don't need to bother about cleaning. You only warm water, put a bit of salt and clean inside. We might not even need soap. But you can put in soap to give it a little bit of nice scent and all that. But in cases where there are rashes, and maybe the stamp is developing what we call callosities, If it is developing callosities, we redo the socket. That means the pressure areas are not in the correct place. And if it is maybe just rashes, we look for the right cream to protect the skin. And there are many in the market being produced, though I will recommend the cream from a given company called Autobock. Their creams always work very well.
Okay. Now, are there misconceptions around prosthetics that you would love to demystify?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
A lot of it. You know, like, you know, Africans as we are, there are so many myths that come around. Some things happen, like children born with congenital deformities. In some communities, they hide them. They don't want them to come out so that we do the prosthesis.
Yeah.
And my advice to the parents is to bring them out so that we do it before this child reaches 1 year, celebrates the first birthday. Why am I saying this? So that the child can be able to learn walking with the prosthesis.
Yeah.
And they are hiding it because some of them say it is ni urogi. Kuna urogi ndio maana akazaa mtoto aina hiyo.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah, and then again on the people who get amputation when they are already adults, could be you are from a funeral, and then you people get an accident, and some people or quite a number of people get injured, and yours ends up with amputation. So it is said, there are claims that you never liked the person you went to bury, and for that reason, that is why the dead body decided to punish you, which is not really the main thing.
Yeah.
And then this idea that when you have a prosthesis, you are not supposed to be with others because there are some communities saying you are minus a limb. So don't
there's
come to
stigma around it.
Yeah, there's a stigma around it. But we encourage people, because when I make a prosthesis, we make prosthesis that if that person has put on his clothes, we look for the color, we look for the shape, everything. It's very difficult to know this person is having a prosthesis. And I have some of my patients who are very senior in the civil service. Some are even auditors in KRA. Nobody knows they have prosthesis.
So they can be customized to be aesthetically pleasing. We call it aesthetically pleasing.
Yes. The aesthetic part of it is what we look for most, especially for girls. Yeah. If it is not cosmetically accepted, the function might be there, but they might not want to use the prosthesis. And for people who are amputated above the knee, and especially our Muslim brothers, we don't advise that they remove the prosthesis when they are going for prayer.
Okay.
We make a type that will allow them to kneel down and even to cross their legs as they are sitting. We call it ischium containment socket.
Okay.
Yes.
I will not try to repeat that word, but well, when the prosthetic is fitted, does one need physical therapy for them to be able to now get accustomed to it?
Correct. Okay. You know, even just when you get just to sleep in the bed and you are given a crutch to walk with, you will not manage. You need training. We use our colleagues, we work with our colleagues, the physiotherapists, to do the training for this person to walk, though we are also trained to train them to walk, because you cannot just make a prosthesis and give it to the person.
Yeah.
Because always there are shortages. Sometimes you don't get a physio to help you. You are supposed to continue on your own and make sure the patient is walking well.
Okay. I will allow you to give us your last remarks on this conversation.
My last remarks on this conversation is around the people coming to the country. If they are seeing me, they know me. They know me, and I've always been for this word. If you are coming in as a business person, please employ our people to help you and get the right professional advice. But if you are coming in to do the prosthesis, simply because we are not regulated, say, therefore you can come without a license to work, it is my humble request that you stop it. things are coming, and we are going to catch up with you. We don't want people to come from outside to start doing prosthesis in our country without our knowledge. And even with our knowledge, we don't want them to do it. That is why we are training Kenyans to do it. Unless it is a special case that you are coming in as an expert, and you must be vetted, so that if you are an expert, we will allow you, and with a certain duration of time, not throughout, because we are also training more experts to come up. So my last word is that these organizations that are coming to take measurement of our patients in Kenya, go with it outside the country and come back with something looking like a prosthesis to fit to our patients, it must stop. And I must talk to our national association to be very vibrant and refuse this. Even if we don't have a regulator, the national association is enough to stamp their feet, and this will not happen through the Ministry of Health.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation, and thank you for just shedding light on all this, and also getting to let the people know that you actually do some of this for free at the Kenyatta National Hospital. So I really, really pray that that will help someone who's watching us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was good to be around.
Okay.
And I'm happy to have given the information that I wanted to give people.
Okay. Thank you.
God bless you.
Bless you too as well. This is where we end this particular conversation. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you who has been joining us from when we started the program at 6:30 a.m. till now. On behalf of everyone who has made this program a success, we wish you a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.